Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Sulky Show. Well, I was looking for a bit of glamour on today's show, and all I could find was Craig Slim Stevenson and Patrick Kane. How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
All right, yeah.
Good, Dad.
Yeah, listen, guys, we're looking forward to a really good weekend's racing, both sides of the Irish Sea. We've got the big Portmarnock meeting coming up with the 2- and 3-year-old championships. We've got 3 good competitive cards on our side of the Irish Sea at York, Tir Prince and Corbiewood. And we're joined by Patrick Kane. Craig, it's a privilege to be joined by one of Ireland's elite sportsmen.
Yes. The last time I seen Patrick, he was driving me home the day after Boxing Day last year.
Right, okay.
We weren't in a very fit state, neither of the two of us.
Had you been to was it Leopardstown or something like that, was it?
Oh, it was just McHugh's and Bannockburn.
Oh, right, okay. I thought it'd be somewhere glamorous like Leopardstown.
No, that was a few years ago, eh?
We've had a few of them, yeah.
Now, Patrick, cracking weekends racing coming up at Portmarnock. Particular interest in those good championship races we've got for the 2- and 3-year-olds. And this is the first year of these championships, and I'm told by my Irish moles, it's all down to you.
I don't know about all down to me, but it's a lot of it was my idea, right? Yeah, it's something that I kind of had in the back of my head for the last couple of years, that like a bit of a series kind of along the lines of like the grassroots in Ontario or Sire Stakes sort of idea, where they can get 4 or 5 races for their stake, and then maybe a grand final at the end of it. And it's just kind of, it was developing away from there. And then when we lost the BDM, then we kind of had to fast track it, because we were after losing enough of our season. We're out losing everything for our juveniles as well in Ireland.
So, and you wanted to incorporate races on this side of the Irish Sea. So we had a couple of eliminators at York. And do you see something like this working alongside the BDM in the future?
Well, I can see, you see, the thing with the VDM, and the VDM is great, and it's after making a serious job for our juvenile races, and it's for the breeders, increase the prices of the yearlings going through the sales and that, and then we've got some good horses that came from it. But the only problem that I've found with it is that one fella leaves with 10,000 at the end of it, and everyone else doesn't. So this idea was kind of more along the lines of sharing the money out amongst a lot of other people. I don't know, like on a normal year, if people had paid their stakes early on, we could be racing for a very big pot. Like if this was to work next year, it could go for a very big pot, and it could run. You could get your 5 races, let's say, and building up towards final and earning nice money along the way, and then the VDM then could sit alongside it, and you could be going for 10 grand 2 weeks before your other final. It could work very good that way. It also gives people a chance if somebody didn't have a very expensive yearling, they might say, right, I'm going to pay the stakes fees in this, and this is going to get me 4 heats or 5 heats and a final. And if I feel good enough, then I'll supplement into some of these big races. And at least by only paying your 1 stake, you can race away. You've got season's races.
And it's going to work for the 2- and 3-year-olds. You're going to focus on these 2 generations. So basically, what you're saying is, in the races leading up to the final, in the eliminators, they'll be racing for some nice money in the eliminators as well.
Yeah, well, even this year, it was kind of hard this year because, as we said, we were low on numbers, because a lot of the 2-year-olds and that were out on grass by the time they started up. So I think next year it could work well. And the idea is that we had behind it was we're supposed to, let's say, start with £1,000 first prize for the first one, and then the second elimination, then maybe go to 13 or 1400, then 15 or 16, then nearly 2 grand for the last one, and build her up, which was kind of to be in line with how we should be building up our 2-year-olds, sort of, instead of having them all bouncing 5th or the 6th of June, Tir Prince first time out and carnage going into the first corner, to kind of make it not as important to be ready for the first one, but to kind of build up over the course of the year was part of the idea. So I think when we added it up with this year's money, if you won all your heats and you won the final, which is obviously going to be hard to do, you were going to leave with about 7 grand in first place prizes. So it's, whereas you would have got 10,000 for the VDM, which is obviously more, and it's only one race, it's grand, but you were getting good value for your money as well.
And timing's very important, because obviously you're giving the younger horses that, you know, that extra time. You know, you're building up to a final in the latter part of the season, the autumn. I think the timing's very important. I think you've found a really good slot here in mid-October.
Yeah, and I think if one good thing from racing that might come out of this COVID thing is, you see Oakwood Annabella, for example, went 58-3 or whatever last week, and the last week in September, and any other year all our 2-year-olds have been out on grass by the last week in September. So we might, it might dawn on people now, and dawn on race promoters and trainers and everything, to, if we are aiming more so for this time of year, I think we could have better 2-year-olds than what we had.
Yeah, so I know it's very difficult at this stage, but thinking ahead to next year, when would you see this sort of championship starting? When would you sort of be looking to have the first eliminators, given normal circumstances? What time of the year?
I would say July is plenty time enough. 7th, 14th of July, in and around that time. And then obviously you have to factor in all our classic races that we already have in UK and Ireland, your Breeders' Crown, your VDM, Sire Stakes, all them North Wales races. And if we could go from sometime in July right the way through until the end of October, racing more or less every second week. And obviously I'm not saying we race our 2-year-olds every second week, but the races be there for them, let's say, every second week. And you miss the ones you want, or give a break when you want. And I think that season could work well for juveniles. Like I've always thought, and I've said to people over here when we were on committee meetings, that we, all our seasons for our racehorses and the seasons for our juveniles was all at the same time. Whereas it would be great if we could have, like, Appleby, let's say, starting in May, and then you had Aberystwyth, and you have Musselburghs and that. If you could kind of have your, like, the busiest time for your older horses, like April, May, June, July, start at that time, let them overlap a little bit with your juveniles, and then have your juveniles then getting busy, because it gives trainers a break as well. You don't have to have all their horses ready through a short period of time. You can have your handicap part of the season as such, and then your juvenile part of the season.
I was talking to James Levis yesterday, Patrick, and we're going to get round the table hopefully in November and talk about fixtures. You know, try and structure the fixtures on both sides of the Irish Sea to complement each other, so to ensure that, you know, the good races, they dovetail nicely together for a structured programme, and there are no clashes. I think that's very, very important.
Yeah, that's very important. Yeah, definitely for going both ways.
And Craig, you know, all things being equal, fingers crossed, I believe you've entered into negotiations. I know it's early days at the moment, but you've entered into negotiations with Musselburgh.
Yes, we've got a date secured, 2 days, 2 days, but we're just in discussions. But it's definitely going to happen. So I'm more happier this year than I was last year. We had to kind of basically beg them for dates last year. Yeah, but a lot of work's going on behind the scenes, so I'm very. It's going to happen.
That's great news. That is absolutely fantastic news. So the aim over here in Britain is that we're going to try and get our fixtures together in November, and then hopefully we'll speak to the IHRA and work together on that. But these championships you've got in Ireland this weekend, the finals, are very, very exciting championships. You know, basically you started from nothing this year. I suppose it was a bit of a rush job last minute, but we've got some nice fields. We've seen some really nice horses on the go. If we can have a look at these races, guys, the 2- and 3-year-old championships, which come up on Sunday at Portmarnock. First of all, we have a look at the 2-year-old Colts Championship. We've seen Churchview Frankel. I mean, Yerkes Hanover was a horse, Craig, that was taking all before it for most of the season. Yes,
he only had one blip, and it was at York. But the rest of the time, it was effortless. I will say that the stable did have the virus, but very, very impressive. Strong call all the way through. It's an exciting race. He'll not have it all his own way. The stable's been a bit of form lately. I think they've been about 2 or 3 weeks since they've had a winner.
And what about the other British interest there, Craig? You know, Comfort Zone, who's sort of been getting his act together recently, and Krikora Bolt.
Corbiewood will have a lot to do, I think. Comfort Zone is a horse I really like. He ran in the slop last week, which if it was mine, it would not have raced. A 2-year-old has been racing against maiden and novices, and every run has been improving. He went over the line strong last week, although it was finished about 4th or 5th, but definitely was not tashed about. And I see Stevie Lees is going over himself to drive this with the owner, Dave Taft's at Tir Prince.
And tell us, Patrick, about the Irish hopes in this race.
Bequest he's been exceptional, really. He's drawn 1. He's very fast out the gate. He went in with age maiden novices, drawn 4 or 5 there one day. He's on the outside of the gate and he let them for fun. So he's going to be quick away anyway, which is going to set the race up. It'll be interesting to see what the others do. Churchill Frankel's a very good horse and ran extremely impressive in the Breeders' Crown in Tir Prince. So he had second pick and he picked 2. I don't know. It's where he's going to go. Is he going to go forward, try and make a gap and get in behind? I'm not so sure. But Larry Camden will be in behind there. He's put up a couple of good runs as well. No, it's definitely going to be a good race.
That's the 2-year-old Colts Juvenile Championship final on Sunday. What about the fillies? Craig, we've got a strong challenge from over here. Oakwood Annabella, Said to Be Sweet, Colford Ski and Reed's Mayfly. But, I suppose all eyes on Oakwood Annabella.
Very, very impressive last time. I've loved this horse ever since I've seen it in the qualifiers. It was doing it from the front all the time. The last time Vicky took a seat, sat in 3rd, went through the half and a fast enough time, then she popped out and absolutely, ultra impressive. Seeing it on the day, it was absolutely astonishing how easy that one horse went across the line in 58s. Had a lot more. Even the horses in 2nd and 3rd, Bob Lee's horse and the horse which racing against it, Colford, the Colford horse, they've still went 2-2, 2-1, 2-2. And any other year, they win the divisions. That's how good this horse is.
Patrick, does anything beat Oakwood Annabella?
No, can't say that'd be the nap of the weekend. I would have thought. I seen it the first day. I've seen it on videos, but the first day I seen it in the flesh was in Tir Prince. I think it was drawn 6, and it had led by the corner, which is hard to do on Tir Prince because it doesn't let you go until you're nearly at the corner, until you're at the start line. And I was stood kind of at the paddock gate, and I was going that fast. It says, "Be lucky to get round there." It's going that fast, and it was absolutely foot perfect. Flew away. So I think with that sort of gate speed, it'll lead out, and then I think it'll be too good for the others.
And just tell us a little bit about the Irish challenge here.
Churchview Diva of Billy Roach's. That's been improving all year, kind of. And the best race that ran then was in Breeders' Crown. I know they quite fancied it going into the race of the Breeders' Crown, and it ran as good as they expected it to run. And no, that's definitely no back marker, but maybe Annabella is just a once in a lifetime one, and it's very unlucky to run into that. Maybe it would have every chance against any normal bunch of 2-year-old fillies, I would say.
Yeah, she is something special, isn't she? She really is. And then later on the card, we're looking at the 3-year-old fillies final. Small select field here in your partnering Rainbow Writer. Yeah,
got the worst draw. Well, earned the worst draw, but I still wouldn't swap me drive for any of the others. On a good day, she was exceptional last week in Annigmore. She was exceptional in the 1.5 mile race. Very good Tir Prince the first day. Ran 2 off days. One up in Annigmore. She was beat by All Bets Are Off, and one in Portmarnock. She was beat by Churchill Niche, and so she's being beat, but she's class too. I wouldn't be swapping her anyway.
And those 2 horses you just mentioned, the new rivalry with you on Sunday. So have you got that in your mind that yes, those 2 have actually beaten our filly in the past?
No, you don't. Like they're good horses. 2 of them ran very good in the Breeders' Crown as well. You just have to have just confidence in your own horse and see. If we win, we win. If we don't, we don't. But we'll be trying. And
Craig, Oakwood Coral's chances. What would you make of Oakwood Coral's chances?
I would never underestimate this horse. This has got bags of ability. It had a problem at the start of the year. They came back, raced, got beaten the 2-horse race in the first heat of the Irish Juveniles. Then it's came back and won the next one. They're very, very impressive the week after at Corbiewood. So if they're burning each other up at the top, I think Rocker will do well just to sit and pounce late with these ones. But take it away. I was at the VDM last year and Rainbow Rider was out of this world. Galloped and still beat them easy. Oakwood Coral was second to it last year in the VDM. A distant second, got caught in a wee bit of traffic, but still would never have got close to it that day. But Oakwood Coral's not the worst horse in the world, and I think it'll be second.
Okay. And then the 3-year-old Colts final. Patrick, you're sitting behind Lord Sugar.
Yeah, Lord Sugar would have had an outside chance with a better draw. So now we're looking for snoopers before the race even starts. Really, it's going to be a very good race. Like we were on a Zoom call last night doing the draws. So you're picking your post position in points order, and there's some serious early gate speed on 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'll be fancy in the front. I don't think any of them will be looking behind them at any stage for the first quarter of a mile. So it'll be exciting to watch us, eh?
And you know what do you make of the other Irish horses in the race?
Meadowbranch Rio has won. He's won 2 good heats, and he's actually been very unlucky with his draws. And he's stayed on well and won 2 heats. So drawn 1, if there's loads of pace on, he might get a good trip. I think he's definitely the best chance of the Irish. Oakwood Cowboy, you definitely wouldn't discount him. He's drawn 2. He would probably have to cross over Rio, I would say. If he crosses over Rio, I'd say he'll have a great chance. But if he doesn't cross over Rio, the outside ones are going to be coming as well. I don't know where he's going to go. So, but I definitely wouldn't discount him.
And Craig, our challenge: which guy am I? Star Attraction, and Matusius. So which guy am I has really come right of late. Matusius hasn't really, he hasn't hit the headlines yet this year.
No. Which guy am I? I looked at this racing paper and I said, I wouldn't like to stand at the first corner. They're going to go some speed into here. Which guy am I? I still predict it will lead at the first corner because this has got a hell of speed into the first quarter. If Vicky can get to the front and they all get in, she'll try and slow it up. And the last 2 runs I've seen in this, and it's fought away, beat horses quite easy going to the line. Very impressive. But for me, which guy am I can get an easy half mile after getting to the front?
There's no easy half miles in Portmarnock. It'd be like trying to get a 58 half in the little round jug. There'd be no easy half miles in Portmarnock. Did we at that quarter in 27, 28 in that race? Don't worry about that.
You'll be hoping that, Patrick, to pick up the pieces.
I think he'll have to get down about 26 for me to pick up the pieces, but we wait and see.
Aye, but if they go that fast, Matusius might pick some off, but I can't see Matusius winning. Not myself, anyway. Might get a place at best.
But let's bear in mind that Matusius has won there at Portmarnock, on the big stage on the big day.
Yes, but the draw's not went kind to him, and these are horses in good form just now.
Just go back to you were saying a moment ago about you were picking your barrier positions yesterday. So how's this competition work? We're talking about a points-based competition here, Patrick.
Yeah, so you're picking up points on every elimination. So you have 16 points for winning, 8 points for second, 4 points for third, 2 points for fourth, and 1 point for fifth, I think, the whole way down. So the horses then with the most points over the course of all the eliminations gets first pick, and then so on. So it's kind of to encourage people to not miss a heat. Like Rainbow Rider missed a couple of heats, and she's paying the consequences there now. So she's drawn 4 in the heat. Or it's drawn 4 in the final, sorry. So it is to encourage, it's to try and encourage full fields and all the eliminations as well. And I think it did work, and I think when people seeing like the way the barrier positions worked out, then I think it'll really work next year. Yeah. I think it's fantastic. Fantastic initiative. Now, you have got a few other drives over the weekend. Yeah, I got a good few. You got a good few. Go on, just talk about a few of those drives to highlight potential winners for us, your drives over the weekend. Potential winners, probably draws weren't overly kind to me, but I'm sure we'll get something somewhere because I've got enough of them. So yeah, something will stick, as the saying goes. But so on Saturday, we've only got 2 running on Saturday. Got Harry Knowles in the 3-year-old trot there. They're our own, the homebred French ones. So,
and how are they, the homebreds?
They've been going all right. I think if we had got racing earlier with them, we'd have been better off when they were nearly ready. I think a lot of people, and including ourselves, I think you nearly inclined to overcook your horses because you didn't know how good you had to be. We were entering into a complete unknown. And as we were training down and the horses were improving, we were thinking, oh, this is good. This is if he keeps improving, he's going to be very good. If he keeps improving, he's going to be very good. And in actual fact, they're only at now where I'd say a lot of them horses would have been at a few months ago. So I'd say we've all learned a little bit with them. But I think some of them, not all of them now, there's a few bad ones as well, but I think some of them are going to make very nice horses.
Okay, so Harry Knowles goes in that second division.
Yeah, he goes to the second division. He'll have a show. He'll not be favourite. Won't have a favourite chance, but he wouldn't be without a chance anyway. And
then back to the Pacers. You've got Stakes on the Pan tomorrow.
Stakes on the Pan, yeah. He's in very good form of late. I think he's got 3 wins and 2 seconds out of his last 5 races. Thereabouts. So he's gone good. His draw's not bad. It's not bad. He's drawn inside of the second line, but all the main dangers are alongside me. So if it depends on what way that race sets up. Like I would think the winner will come from the back line, and so it all depends on what way that race sets up. But I wouldn't swap him either. He'll have every chance in that.
Is that it tomorrow? Just 2 drives?
I think so. No cards. I'm talking on the phone here. I think that is all I have tomorrow. Yeah.
Right.
The next day.
And then you've got, obviously, we spoke about Rainbow Ride from Lord Sugar, and you've got a couple of others on. I can see on Sunday. You've got a trotter there, Ella de Foss.
Ella de Foss, yeah. She ran fairly well there last week. Finished second. She's had a few little issues, tipping her nails really, and she's starting to gain her confidence a little bit now. And I think she'll be all right. I don't think she'll be good enough to win tomorrow, but if all goes well, she should be second, hopefully. And she picks up a bit of prize money and gets a little bit more confidence. And she'll actually be all right. She was one that we are nearly having enough of during the year, and now we're thinking that if she gains a bit of confidence, she'll be a nice one to look forward to for next year because she's still young.
Okay, and then back to the Pacers. I see Tara Wood Messi lines up on Sunday as well.
Yeah, I don't think I'm driving them. But
you're down to drive according to this.
Right. Tara Wood Messi. We actually had him for Paul early on in the year.
You're not driving. It's a mistake, is it?
I'd say so. Yeah.
Right.
Unless I'm driving, I don't know about him.
I'll rip it up.
That could happen to him.
Is there anything else? Because I can't see anything else.
We definitely have more than that. What else have we got? We'll have to go around the yard. We've Good Maestro Racing. He's I put Owen Murphy on him. He'd be son of Toig and a nephew of Donald. He's only had a couple of drives, a C-class driver, so he gets a grade allowance, which puts him down into that F race. But then he drew 9 in that then, so right. The grade allowance didn't do him much favours. But he won there last time out. He's gone fairly well.
Immortal John, got that?
Immortal John, yeah. He's a nice horse. Mark only bought him himself there a couple of weeks ago, and now he's a nice horse. His draw probably wasn't too kind to him either. He drew 606, but if he can get a good trip, he'll be there or thereabouts hopefully, and he'll be there for another day then again. So he should be nice. Yeah.
And now, just going back to the trotters, you mentioned about 3-year-old trotters, the homebreds. Are there any plans this year to buy more French trotters over the coming weeks? I mean, obviously things are very difficult at the moment to go over to the sales in person.
There's only been a batch landed in there last week. I think there was 11 or 12 landed in there last week. I think they had to do it a little bit different. I think the Emmanuel and Damien, I think they had a couple of French drivers went around with them, and they done the test driving for them, and they had a vet with them as well, I think, and they checked them over. And John Richardson, I would have thought he normally looks at all the videos before they're picked and looks back through the race lines. So I think he probably had them narrowed down. Then the drivers drove them, vet looked at them, and they made their choices from that. So I haven't seen any of them yet. There's a few of them racing this weekend, so it'll be interesting to see what the batches are like, because you can you normally find that sometimes you can get a really good batch where there's 11 come in, there could be 5 or 6 good ones, and other times the batch may be not so good. So it'd be interesting to see what they're like.
Will these be
We've
different?
them anyway, so I hope they're no good.
Will these be different ages, Patrick?
Yeah, they're. I'm not sure what the youngest is. There's F's in it, I think. So I think they're 5-year-old. I think they're the youngest, and then I think 8-year-old is the oldest. I think that came in, and they're spread across the handicap system. We have our own conversion table that when the French ones come in, so it's actually a fairly even spread, which is quite good as well, because the handicap system, like sometimes if they all congregate into one grade, it makes it hard to frame, and then you've trail, and then when you nearly could have got away with it if they were spread a bit more about the handicap. So they seem to be a good spread of handicap that came in this time.
And do they all have the same price tag?
Yeah, they all have the same price tag, and then you come out of a hat what you get.
Yeah. I think it's a great system. Something, Craig, it's obviously we want to try and build on our trotting program over here. We need to build on our numbers.
Yes. Patrick was going on about the young horses. We've only had 2 over here, so they scrapped the race, and I think there were going to be 3 qualify. One was out maybe 5 weeks ago, Hefe Mather. That looked a tremendous prospect. So it can't even race. There are one tomorrow in the qualifiers, High Level for Life, and I'm sure George Button had one, and they scrapped that 3-year-old division, which it would have been good to see them race.
Yeah,
it'd be good to see them even race against the Irish ones to see what level we're at.
Yeah. Craig, looking forward to another competitive card at York on Saturday. 8 races. First race 11 o'clock. What stands out for you just looking at the card on Saturday? What are you looking forward to seeing more than anything else?
Dry weather.
Oh, it can't be any worse than last week, Craig.
Yes, last week it wasn't very good. First race, I've got it between 2 in the first race. Jackson Hall and West End Illusion. Oh, Papa Smurf gets a drive on Jackson Hall this time. So I don't know if Patrick's driven this horse, but it took a big time to get rolling.
Yeah, I've driven before. Yeah, he's I think he had wind issues, and I think he got a surgery on that last year. So I think that's why you're probably seeing a bit more improvement in him. He actually went fairly well, I thought, in that race in Tir Prince. He got a tough enough trip. I think he went fairly well, so he's probably not without a chance.
No. I think if he gets to the lead, he led the last time he was at York, and he won in 2-2. It was a good performance, and that time probably could be good enough to win the race. Obviously, Michael O'Mahony's horse is drawn on 6. It's got a 2-1 clock. But for me, Jackson Hall is the one to look around. West End Illusion, first time out at the start of the year, they bet it. It was a gamble that day, and it won. It's not been gambled since, so that might be one to watch at the betting. Second race is Trotters. I couldn't pick one. You would pay to follow Alan Haythornwaite driving for the Quins. Doesn't matter what one he jumps on, he gets in the first 3 every week.
Yeah, he's having a really good time with the Trotters at the moment, isn't he?
Yes, I don't know what he does to them. He just sits that so coolly. I think you need to put him on yours, Darren.
Just a good driver.
He should sit. Well, our horse is out for the season, Craig.
Oh,
yeah.
But you need to get Papa Smurf to get you a new one.
Well, listen, hey, it takes a few quid, you know.
But you can't take it with you.
Right, come on, Craig, move on.
The one we spoke about in the third race, the man was put into the field last week with Frisco Gotta Go.
I was thinking that. I looked at this, I thought this was being turned out.
I asked the man in the interview, and he said that's it, finished for the year. So they must have had a conversation thinking, we went from novice straight into handicap here, but he'll try and get some more expenses over the winter. So that's got to take a chance in that race. But I think the race, what I read it, is set up for Shadowcaster. It's following Frisco Gotta Go all the way, and can pop out maybe nail it coming home.
You know, Craig, at the start of the season when we did the first calendar, a few of us were putting up horses to follow, and I said to Alan, "Go on, Alan, give me a dark horse, one to follow for the season," and that was it. Frisco Gotta Go. They've liked this from the spring. They really thought they think an awful lot of this.
Yes, yes. Well, I got slaughtered one day on the way home in the car for the qualifiers because I was commentating and this was in it, and I got slaughtered for calling it. Said that's the only horse you liked in the card because it was the way I was calling it. But so I think Will Greenhorn slaughtered me for it. Next race. Tell what I think's got a right chance. Vichy de Moem ran a great race last week. I think Matty could get his long overdue drive and win round York for a while. I can't remember if I've seen Matty win a race driving, but his horses are running well, and this horse ran terrific last week.
Mind you, having said that, I think Diesmois Wee is still going to be a tough nut to crack.
Yes, it's I'd like to see Vichy win. It's been a while since it won.
Yeah.
Taft's horses are absolutely flying.
Yeah.
In that race, there's a Maltese driver, first drive in UK tomorrow.
Oh, Adrian.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it'll be good to see what his style is on the old 3-pack. The maidens, I don't know where to start with this maidens. It's a very winnable race. I couldn't pick one in the race. It's maybe Sideway Al Swimbanks. It's been running in qualifiers, never had a run. It's running about 4 or 5 qualifiers from Corbiewood down to York. Win Cups has went 2-3 at York, finished 7th that day. So it's not the best horse mounds I've got, but it's a winnable race, that one. The next race, Take Me to Limit's a non-runner, and ATM is a non-runner. So I would now take in the race James Macy Hallstar. I can't see I predicted I getting to the front this week in a 2026 or 28.
Line 2.
It's in line 2, drawn 2 in that line, so I can't see it getting past the front ones and get to the front. It done a 28 quarter on that muck last week.
It's amazing. I thought it just can't keep going.
No. But the one here is James Macy Hallstar's the winner for me.
Yeah.
Then we've got this race. Esther de Fernay's getting 20 yards at sale. 20 yards is a lot, so I would pay to side with that one. I think I think it's been sold to Matty's. I'm sure Matty's bought this. That's how Alan Haythorne waits on it. In the last race, any of them could win. Lions Queen done terrific last week. So did Loose Change. Roller Coaster, when it gets to the front, is very hard to pass, and all Spring Hill Glory will still be they're trying to chip on at the end. Lion King's been 58s, 57s this year at York. Young Williams driving it as the Laidlers on Ireland, so that'll give him a great hurl. I think it would pay to just sit in and get a good run round, then pop out later and try and sprint by them. But if Queen's the form it was in last week, it could take beating.
Okay, so a comprehensive look at the York card. First race at 11 o'clock at York. And then on Sunday, Craig, are you Corbiewood bound?
Yes, I'm at Corbiewood Sunday. Of course, got to keep on going.
You got heats in the final, right?
It's 4 heats, 4 races that's in a final. So the first race, let's go through that. First race, I would. Dreamfair Duke has been running terrific at York, but it was struggling to race and start at Corbiewood, so it'll be good to see that back at Corbiewood. So I would still go with Dreamfair Duke. Second race, the one horse might take beating GD's Blizzard. Obviously, Will Greenhorn's been driving that. Ryan Ingalls is on it. He might take beating there. The horse in the next race has got to be Crafty Dream. Crafty Dream is going for the top Equine Products leaderboard. So it's been, won 3 weeks in a row. It was 5th in the final last week. It'll take beating for Rab Wilson. old servant back out of retirement. He's won a few races this year. And in the maiden and novice race, I would probably I would have to leave that alone. I don't know a lot about Highbrook's Ideal for the first runs for the Parsons. You threw all that was at York last week. The race, I'll say a prediction here. The race will go 2-8.
All right, that's your prediction.
Yes. 2-8 the race. I don't know the winner.
Right, okay. So we're going to have a time prediction. And then, of course, we've got the Jim McManus Memorial Final. Thanks to the friends and family of Jim McManus as well for the sponsorship at Corbiewood.
Yes, if you notice that the race in the during the week, it was the RMC race. Jim always said he was the chairman of the Real Man's Club.
Right.
So a few people have tried to get in that, but they've been bombed out.
Have you looked at the Tir Prince card?
I've got it on in front of me.
Anything stand out?
First race. The one I like in it, I do like Ring Me Back. It's definitely due a win. Oakwood Bandit's been kind of playing about sometimes at races. If it starts, it's not the worst horse in the world. I've gave Conor McGregor too many chances this year from the 9. I think he'll struggle from there. Race 2, I see Taft's got Dismoy Oi back on again, or Dismoy Wee, whatever you say.
1.5 miles.
Aye, it's good enough to win that, but depends how much it takes out of tomorrow. Elliot Thorpe will definitely come on for the run. Tir Prince last week just got beat. That's the second race. Third race is a horse which Tarwood Bull. I've loved it at the start of the year. This horse keeps on pulling out better. It's definitely a good horse. One to watch next year.
Craig, I said to my missus the other day, what do you want for Christmas? And she said Tarwood Will.
Oh, well, that's just get a couple of mares. How do you know?
Present.
No, the best thing you can do is topple Gareth, top him off some of the commentaries and you can get it.
Well, get you up. And then race 4, Craig?
Race 4. It could. Taff loves this Lions Rosella, but not for me. It's got to be Kick-Ass Kate. Kick-Ass Kate for me. Second will be Madge's Lad. Get a forecast there. Then the fifth race, it could still stay to pay with two Miraculous and Passion. They're just a little bit above these lot. Definitely. I thought Miraculous was going to get that win, but it didn't matter what the two of them. It was good to see Passion getting a win, and Alan would be happy to beat Richard.
What did you make of that race last week, Patrick? I thought it was going to be Miraculous's day in the sun last week.
I actually was. I had the stream going on the phone as I was going up to Anningmore, and it just kept freezing. I mean, I didn't get to see it at all. So I got to watch it back afterwards. I did want to see it, and now I thought when Miraculous went too clear, gone up the back there, he'd have been home and house. But Passion is a good mare in her own right as well. So like both of them have been a little bit off the boil, but maybe this series might just get that confidence back, rekindle a little bit of form, and kick on again maybe.
But, pay tribute to this horse, Patrick. He's been an amazing horse, hasn't he, Miraculous? To think he's been at the top level since he was a juvenile.
Oh, unbelievable. I think he's broke a track record 9 times. He's won more money than any horse has won in England, and he's probably won, I don't know how many races he's won. He must have won 30 races or more. So he's been an absolute thing. I've had some great days on him, haven't you?
That's right, and and he's still there competing, in the top 3 for alls and running good, honest races.
Yeah, it's very hard to expect a horse to be like exceptional at 2, exceptional at 3, win every free for all around him at 4, and then I think it was 5. I don't think he won much at 5. He went 54s then last year. Like it's very hard to try and keep that like you'd have to be a 56 horse every single year if you want to be winning them free-for-alls every year, and it's very hard to keep horses at that sort of level. So no, he's been an exceptional horse, absolute exceptional horse.
Yeah, and a great team of people own the horse as well, and obviously handled superbly by Sally over the years. And Craig, what's going to win the 2 mile trot?
Now you're asking a question. This plays into the hands of Falcon de Mellery, the distance. So I'll play with Falcon de Mellery and Universal Cat, but just slightly fancy Falcon de Mellery to stay it.
Now, Patrick, I don't know whether you know, we had a committee meeting last week, and I needed Craig on this committee meeting. I mean, this man, I don't know how he does it. All the balls that he juggles in life. He was actually working. He does actually work for a living, believe it or not. And he was working when he was attending the committee meeting. But what he was doing, goodness knows what were you actually doing? Because you were driving up and down some motorway in Scotland, and you were putting some rock cones out and fixing barriers and doing all sorts.
Yes, we had to close it. We had to put a lane 2 out and close it up so we could do 3 barrier hits. Then we had to lift it later on at night. So, and when I tried to put my votes in during the day, I was told I wasn't allowed. So I had to come on live just in time to put the votes in. Fair
play. I mean, you know, that is something else. Your devotion. You're so dedicated. You know, your duty comes first with you, Craig. So we know what you do for a living now. You're one of these guys that annoys the drivers. You know, you close motorways at night. We always have to go on the detour. You get your road cones out. We know what you do for a living. Now, Patrick, we know what you do very well for a living, and that's drive horses. But you have got another job, a proper job.
Well, I wouldn't like to be relying on me driving pays to support the family and house. But no, I'm a farrier by trade, so that's me bread and butter.
You any good at it?
I don't know, probably not, but I do all right. I earn a week's wages.
So would you be doing? Yeah, I mean, how far would you have to travel doing that job? I mean, do you deal with thoroughbred horses, thoroughbred race horses?
I do a mix of everything really. I do thoroughbreds, pleasure horses, hunters, show jumpers, trotters. I do a bit of everything, and it's kind of good to do a bit of everything because I don't have any quiet spells. Now I don't kill myself. I do about 5 horses a day, but I do 5 horses a day for most of the year. Whereas to be some lads there, and they could be like there's a local lad beside us there, he'll be in Gerald Lyons is absolutely flat out for 9 months of the year and scratching his bum for the other 3 months of the year. And maybe he's right and I'm wrong, but it suits me the way we do it anyway.
So steady away on that. And what about the driving, Patrick? Have you ever thought about thinking, oh, I could do this for a living? I could, you know, cross the Atlantic and make hay in Canada or the US. You ever thought about that and about how is it a big option?
No, not really. Like I've thought about it, all right, but it wouldn't really be viable. Like we've got a mortgage and a wife and 2 kids, and I wouldn't be uprooting and taking any chances. Like we've got a good life, like, so I wouldn't be. But it would be great. Now, don't get me wrong. If somebody offered me the #1 driving job and Tony Alani's or Nancy Hector's or one of them, I'd take a chance then. But I'd be under no illusions of going over there and starting at the bottom and seeing how you get on. You could end up with nothing very quick.
Yeah. And what about ambitions? I mean, are there any ambitions?
Oh, well, you just want to win as much as you can, to be honest, and win as many of them big races as you can. I'm at the stage now where, like, obviously I'm not very old, but like it's nice to be winning like regular races. That's fine, but it's the big races that gets your blood going. The real good races.
And do you enjoy the training with your old man?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, there's me and Mark do the horses in the mornings before we go to work. And now I've always enjoyed training, but I used to be driving was the be all and end all. Whereas I get as much of a kick out of training a winner now as I would driving a winner.
And how's it been at Portmarnock this year? We're living through strange times, and you know, you've had racing at Portmarnock, Annickmore, Down Country in Cork. I mean, describe the scenes in Ireland. I mean, how's it been?
It hasn't been ideal, but it's considering how it was looking in like early June. when we were going to be getting absolutely nothing. It's better than what we could have had. So it's not ideal. Like, and you miss the atmosphere. Like, we had Cork Lawyer at the Red John meeting there. Like, you're racing for over 100,000. You're behind closed doors, no fans. Like, it's like, I couldn't imagine what Musselburgh would be like. Let's say, for example, if you had no fans. Like the buzz you get out of Musselburgh when you start coming into the 2 furlong pole and you hear the crowd and all. Like, I know it's not the same on a half-mile track because you can nearly hear the crowd the whole way around. But you do miss the buzz that the atmosphere that the crowd generates. So, but it's all right. It's better than what we could have had. At one stage, it was looking like we might have had no racing.
Yeah, all credit to you guys in the IHRA for putting the show on the road, and hopefully you'll continue to run through November.
I'd say as long as the cases are starting to rise a little bit, especially up the north, but down south as well, they are starting to rise a little bit. So if we can keep a lid on that and the restrictions if we don't go up another level with restrictions, I think the people will be happy to train on right through till the end of November. I'd say no problem. There's a lot of horses racing at the moment and people missed enough time and they'd be keen to race on. So I think when the time comes that trotting stops, I don't think it'll be the choice of the trotting people. I think it'll be we'll be locked down or we'll be lifted a level in restrictions that we won't be able to race. So I think that's what's the only thing that's going to stop us getting till end of November, December. Yeah.
Well, fingers crossed, and fingers crossed for a good weekend this weekend. And hope it all goes well. And really looking forward to seeing these good juvenile races and 3-year-old races. And let's hope we can build on this series. Patrick, thank you very much for joining us tonight on the Sulky Show. Yeah, and you do know now that you will have winners this weekend, because
the way it works.
Yeah, that's the way it works. Every driver that's been here, I believe, on a Friday night gets winners over the weekend.
That's good, because when I see me draws, there's something like that, I mean, hate it.
But thanks, Patrick, for joining us, and Slim, again, terrific job, and looking forward to your company tomorrow.
Yes. And tomorrow I'll be out with these catalogues tomorrow. I've just picked some of them up tonight, Darren, for the York sale.
Yeah, just a quick line on the sale next week.
I've got one here. York sale starts at 11 o'clock next week. For the social distance, we will be taking the track and trace. Everybody's details will need to be logged, so we can get in. We are planning to have it in the middle of the track in the arena. That gives you enough space for everybody keeping social distancing. We have got 46 horses in the sale. Majority of them are, I would say, 39 of them are yearlings for all different sorts. A lot of the horses are coming up on Friday night or Friday. So the stables are available for all the horses. There are enough stables for every horse. So as long as you keep the social distancing, the sale is definitely going ahead, and hopefully we'll have some racing after it. So it should be a good day. I know it's not the same as always, but see if you told me this about 2 or 3 months ago, we would get a good season out of it. I would have grabbed it. The amount of work yourself have put into this is superb.
Well, looking forward to the sale next week and the race meetings. Craig, so catalogues are available then?
Yes. I'll drop one in for Sally so she can tell you what she wants for early Christmas Day present. Apparently
it's Tarwood will or nothing.
Oh, well, just go and see Charlie. Charlie will give you a share in it. I'm sure of that.
Yeah. Name your price. Okay, guys, thanks very much. Really did enjoy that, and good luck with the weekend racing.
Right, cheers, Daz.
Yeah.